Welcome, everybody, to One Stage at a Time, the podcast where we're playing through video games one stage at a time, every single level of a video game, not skipping anything. We are in the throes of doom still. Today we're playing through E3M6. I forget what this one's called. What's it called, Andy?
Mount Erebus.
Mount Erebus. That's right. It's Mount Erebus. That was Andy Prim, my co-host. Hello, Andy. We're also joined today by Sam Ingersoll.
Hello.
And I'm Aaron Neeson, and welcome and thank you for joining us today. Gentlemen, let's talk about Doom.
Let's do it. Mount Erebus is map number 6 of episode 3 of Doom. Episode 3 is, of course, the Inferno. So we're deep in hell at this point. We have cut a bloody swath through Satan's capital city, and we've only got 3 more stages after this one. So we're getting close to the end of episode 3.
Yeah, we're close to the original end of the game.
Correct.
Because when Doom first came out, it was just the 3 episodes, E1, 2, and 3. And then they added a 4th, which we will be playing through. But originally.
So you're still ready to go on episode 4. You haven't, all this Doom hasn't burnt you out. You're ready to delve deep into the apocryphal 4th episode.
It's part of the game now. It's part of the game. I say we're playing it. I didn't think that was up for question.
Okay. We have to beat Doom.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be there soon enough. But for mission 6 of episode 3, let me hit you with some quick stats here. So this is Mount Erebus. It uses the music track "On the Hunt," which we've heard before, by our friend Bobby Prince. It is another Sandy Peterson map, the beautiful boy, Sandy Peterson, the true hero of id Software. And there are exactly 4 secrets in this stage. And for enemies, we have quite a few. On the ultra-violence difficulty, we have 7 zombie men, 18 shotgun guys, 36 imps, 32 lost souls, 6 demons, 4 specters, 22 cacodemons, and a single Baron of Hell. Fellas, what did we think of Mount Erebus?
I felt like it was a bit meandery. I was surprised. I went back and watched our good friend Big Mac Davis's Let's Play. I was surprised to see that he said it was his favorite.
It's his favorite
Doom level.
Wow.
It was okay. I felt like for about half of it, I was trying to find out where to go. I had spent a long time just kind of confused right in the middle of it. Then I triggered a few other things. Like I remembered a door I hadn't been in, but it was okay. Boy, was there a lot of cacodemons in this level, though. It seemed like every time I went in somewhere and turned around, that's why I picked that picture. There's another fucking cacodemon or 5 hanging out.
Cacodemons all over my face. What is a boy to do? But Aaron, what did you think of Mount Erebus?
I actually really liked it too. I totally understand what Sam means when he says that it's meandering, because there is like a lot of you're not really confined right away at all. There's no direct route that you're supposed to take for sure. Like you could just sort of go wherever, and so that leads you to just sort of like going wherever, and you'll see I thought it was very cool how you'll be exploring. There'll be lots of exploring, and then you'll trigger something and you'll come back to an area, and then it'll be swarmed with a dozen cacodemons. Just like, oh shit. And they're just floating towards you, all ominously shooting their laser balls at you. And so I get the meandering thing. I totally understand it, but I thought it was very cool how you could just sort of explore. It's like, go ahead, play, have fun.
And I think that's what I didn't like about it was that the more we go in through this and we're playing through Doom, I think I enjoy the more linear levels more than the open non-linear ones.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit more obvious where you need to go, but it's not that it's just on rails completely, but you here okay, here's the exit, but you can't get to it yet. You have to find the thing, then do it, rather than these levels that you have almost access to everything, except for you got to find one specific place and then go back and find another specific place, and then you can finally get out. Well, I think that's what I prefer is just a more linear structure.
If that's your preference, Sam, I do not recommend playing Doom 2 because this map is the way it's wide open like this with all sorts of little structures, almost like a miniature city with all different little buildings to go into. Doom 2 is chock full of that style of map. And I'm like you, it's not my favorite. I think it's very cool, like technically, and as like a one-off in this game, I dig it. But in Doom 2, it starts to get exhausting. Just every single map, you're just like, oh boy, okay, what do I got to do on this one? I got to wander around for 15 minutes, looking for the right card key.
And Sandy Peterson was still still on the team for Doom 2, designed a bunch of those levels.
Correct. He did like 19 maps in Doom 2. It was him and American McGee and maybe one other guy.
It could be done well if if there are more clues. It's more obvious where you need to go, and like I just think it can be easily made frustrating, like you said. Doom 64 did a couple has levels like that, but these, albeit it's hard to find these places, but there are places where you can look into like a computer screen, and it will like show you a room that you haven't been to that has like a button on it. So now okay, I'm looking for that so I can open some secret door and like progress forward. But the beginning and end of this level I enjoyed. The middle I wasn't not having fun, but it was just kind of like I spent a lot of time running in circles out in the lava because I kept finding so many hazmat suits that I thought there was more to do out there when there really wasn't too much to do out there.
So let's set the stage a little bit. We are on a very large island in the middle of a big sea of lava. We start off on a little peninsula with a single shotgun guy who's facing the wrong way and is just totally zoned in on the tree with the corpse spiked on it that he's looking at. He just like cannot be roused from that. He won't turn around. Nothing will break him from his concentration. Who knows, what kind of prurient interest he has in this spiked corpse.
I was going to say, what do you guys think he was doing to it?
he put this corpse on there, and he was just sitting back like, oh God, what's his name? Griswold from Christmas Vacation. Admiring his work. Well done.
He's making tiny little adjustments to it where it like needs to go. Like,
yeah.
Doom guy spawns in and he hears, oh, and Doom guy's like, wait, I know that sound. What's that guy doing to that corpse?
No.
Wait a minute, that's my thing.
So we're on this little peninsula. We've got this lone zombie man, but he does not represent the shape of things to come. You kill him, you go in this first building, and then we see our first Baron of Hell, first and only Baron of Hell, which is kind of strange. On Lower Than Ultraviolence, I don't think there's any, but the first one is in this very first place. You can see him up on top of like a balcony, and there's a window there. So I just killed him from a distance with my shotgun. But then you get up to the balcony and there's another window where you can see out into like the main area of the stage. And you can already see there's like tomatoes spawning in, there's demons, there's imps, and eventually it's just full of lost souls as well. So then anyway, you make your way out of this building. You have to either jump down or make a dash across some lava. But then you're into like the main plaza, and there's like 5 or 6 smaller buildings off of this main plaza. Some of them are locked and need to be unlocked. Some of them have like walls that will lower when you step on a certain specific area to trigger it, releasing a horde of more enemies. But the structure of the level is kind of, and there's teleporters as well. So the structure is kind of figuring out like how to access all of these buildings, what's inside all of them, which ones do you need to actually finish the stage? And the answer is most of them you don't need to actually go into to finish the stage. And then getting to the actual exit, which is it's kind of hidden in and of itself, and you need the blue key for it. So it's kind of a lot to keep track of in the old meat computer.
Yeah, it was. But this made me think of the Unholy Cathedral.
Yeah.
Where I just started darting around and running everywhere as I could until I found where I was supposed to. And I was able to. It was nice because I was able to pretty easily keep track of where I'd been in this one, as opposed to the Unholy Cathedral, where it was sort of like it all seemed very samey. But out here in the open area like this, and the structures seemed so distinct that I was able to be like, okay, I've been in there, and it took me here, and it opened that, and and so it wasn't. I still did a lot of just darting around blindly and madly like a maniac, but I was pretty easily able to keep track of where I'd been and where I should probably go next.
You're like walking around downtown. You're like, okay, this is the library. This is the city hall. This is the old cathedral.
Here's the Blockbuster.
That one's very important. You got to know where the Blockbuster in hell is.
It was another like perfectly sized level. I felt like there are some times where I'm like, oh God, this thing keeps going on because it's just so long, and there's so many little places to go. The size of it was fine. Once I kind of figured out, I'm sure next time I play this, I won't feel as frustrated because I know what to do, and it'll be a little more fun to have a better flow to it. I also want to state something before I forget it. You called the Cacodemon a tomato.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
You should. I think it'd be better if you called them a Tomaco demon.
Okay.
Tobacco.
Referencing the classic Simpsons episode, of course.
I will admit, I did cheat on this and looked up how to get into the secret area just because I tried for like 15 minutes and I could not figure out how to jump into it. We'll get to that, but like,
yeah,
I just want to put my cards on the table now. I did. It's the first time I had to cheat to see how to get to the secret. One of the secrets.
You know what? I'm with you, buddy. No shame there, brother. I had to do the same thing. I tried for a while. I could see it there, but yeah, I eventually just had to look it up. Aaron, what about you? Did you figure it out on your own?
To get to which area? The
secret exit.
There's a secret exit.
Secret exit. No, I don't think I found the secret exit. I didn't.
Oh, so this is new tech for Aaron. He didn't even know there was a secret exit.
Unless I found it on accident. Where was it?
This would have been an extremely fortuitous accident if you had actually managed to get it.
Yeah.
So off in the lava, there's multiple buildings out around the central area out in the lava in the level. And most of them are just little houses to have little cacodemons and lost souls come out of and hold hazmat suits. But there's one that is actually a pit in the ground that you can only actually get to the top of it through teleporting, I believe, from another end.
Yeah, is that what we're looking at right now?
Yes. Yeah, it's the blue area, and you teleport to the top of it.
When you come out, right in front of you, there is a chainsaw that you can strafe jump to. To the left is where you normally go to. I forget what happened, why you go down there, but you can fall down there and get teleported somewhere else. But if you go around across a small ledge, there is a blue box with a switch you can see inside of it, but it is too far away to jump to. You cannot strafe into it. It's too far away. But it's clearly there's a switch for you to hit down there. And I went over. I tried running through the teleporter to get speed. I tried everything, and I finally looked it up, and it was kind of an oh duh moment because this game was kind of like a basis for Quake, which started this kind of technique in the first place, which is you have to rocket jump basically.
Yeah, baby.
Into the hole. You turn around and you shoot the wall with your rocket, and the force of the rocket actually pushes you farther than you can jump, and you land into the box, and that's how you get through the secret exit.
Yeah, no, definitely didn't do that.
Yeah, because since you don't jump in this game, if this were like Quake or something, where I know you can jump, and I know rocket jumping is a huge part of Quake, I probably would have tried that, but I didn't. There's no jump button, so there's a whole piece of that pie missing in my brain to try rocket sideways pushing.
Yeah, the game hasn't asked us to do this before, and it's not really a mechanic in any other stages subsequently. So it's a pretty one-off deal. I never would have thought of this. I certainly didn't find it my first play through the game.
He's about to do it in the video here.
Yeah.
He's smart enough to save one of the invulnerability power-ups for this, because otherwise you take like 50% of your health doing this.
Literally just blowing up a rocket, standing inches from the wall, and blowing up a rocket in your own face to blast you.
It's kind of a dick move on Peterson's.
It is,
because you spend the whole game trying not to do that, so that's the last thing you would think to do.
Yeah,
especially you're not realizing how far you're getting moved around when you shoot a rocket too close to something.
Yeah, you're going to be thinking like, oh, there's got to be a teleportation pad up above me that I got to go find somewhere, and it'll someplace will teleport me to above where I am right now, and that's where I jump from instead, or something like that. Instead, but no, blow up a rocket in front of your fucking face, like right on your nose.
Baby.
Putting my mind back when I was a kid and how, kind of like pre-internet, when you're like there are all these like legends and like legends of gaming techniques would
Yeah.
come around. I could see how people were like the blue room, like what's the blue room? There's no way. No, man, it's just there to troll you. There's nothing really there. You can't get there.
You're
You know?
on a forum on your dial-up modem.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, oh, I heard you had to like have no ammo in your shotgun and you gotta like leave 2 of the cacodemons, the odd number of cacodemons up, and then the wall will come down.
You got to turn all the lights off in your room and say John Romero's name 3 times.
Yeah, it's like shit like that, There was always some horse shit like, oh man, there's a cheat code to get Eris back in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Like there's like shit like that, I'm sure it spawned countless arguments amongst friends about how to do that.
Well, I read this on the wiki. Apparently there's a way to just run in there using, if you exploit the physics just right, doing like diagonal running and that all that stuff. We've kind of talked about that before, but
where I accidentally I ran down that hallway really fast on accident.
Yeah. Apparently that's possible, but I think the rocket jump is the intended way and the canonical way. But yeah, it's an interesting little trick. It reminded me, I don't know if this might be too deep of a cut for you guys and anyone else except for me, but in Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, there's an area in I think it's either in Hyrule Castle or Ganon's Tower, where there's like a little pit that you can't get over, and you can't jump in that game. You don't have the Rock's Feather. And you can't get over this pit. There's no way over it. There's no hookshot target, but there's clearly a door on the other side of it, and there's a room there. And I can never access this room. And I was like, how the hell are you supposed to do that? There's no teleporters there. So finally, years later, I read on the internet that you're supposed to use the Pegasus boots and ram yourself into the wall on the opposite side. And you have a little knockback when you hit a wall with the Pegasus boots, and that little knockback bounces you over the 1-tile pit so you can get through that door.
I was expecting you to say that you had to blow yourself up, like you had to put a bomb down.
That's something
you get blown across it.
They do that in speed runs. Like there's like a weird like, if you put a bomb down and do your charging Pegasus attack into the bomb just right, you get extra distance more than just the regular Pegasus charge. Or maybe it's like they're putting the bomb down and running into it, and that knocks them back before it blows up. But I've seen people do it specifically. In a speed run.
Apparently, bombs are the key to breaking the Zelda games. I don't know if you've seen like Ocarina of Time speed runs where they do bomb jumping and like you do backflips onto like the bomb explosion graphics. It's
all
insane.
Kinds of fun ridiculousness.
That's great.
So yeah, you have to basically speed run Doom to get to the secret level in this.
That's correct.
I got to go replay this level then, huh? Because we got to do the secret level.
We got to do the secret level.
Oh yeah, I've got to save for the secret level. And I got to save for the next level.
Yeah. And they're both good ones, so I can't wait. But I did want to, Sam, jump back to something you mentioned earlier, which is the fact that you can still take damage in the lava, even if you have a radiation suit on.
Yeah.
Big Mac Davis talks about this, and he actually, in the next video, he goes back and talks more about it because he's like, oh, I learned something since I put out that video. And they talk about it on the wiki a little bit, but apparently what's happening is all the damage floors are coded in a certain way to do a certain amount of damage over time. And this damage floor is coded at a very high rate, and like more than most. It's like, it would do 20 if you just walked on it, like 20 per second or whatever. So even with the radiation suit, there's like a chance that sometimes it will still hurt you, even though you have the rad suit on. And I'm not sure exactly why. It has to do with the way it's programmed. It may be a glitch or it may be intentional. But for some reason, this extremely damaging damage floor will sometimes leak through your rad suit.
Yeah, it's definitely happened a few times because like I said, I spent a long time running laps basically through the lava trying to see if there are any secrets out there.
Yeah. And you can get boned if you use up all the rad suits, but you still need to make a run through the lava, which the conventional exit from this stage, you get the blue key and you go around. There's like, if you go through the lava, there's like a little side entrance to one of the buildings, and you go through there and use the blue key, and that's where the conventional exit is. But if you used up all the rad suits, then you just have to take damage.
The blue key door was interesting in this one. It was like a grid of just blue skulls.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anyone like that before.
I enjoyed the hint as to the door being there because it was like blood was like pouring out over the lava. Did you notice that? Like the doorway into the blue room, yeah, there's like it's like solid red blood stain like leaking out, and when you go in, it's solid red versus the lava texture.
Oh,
in
that's
that,
tight.
that room, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the individual buildings, like the Blockbuster and the Applebee's, they're all. Some of them are kind of interesting. Like the one that we're watching Big Mac Davis do now has these 4 imps in cages outside of it, like they're go-go dancers or something. And then you go inside and there's just a bunch more imps and a bunch more shotgun troopers. But then all it is this little room with like there's these 2 staircases that are kind of crisscrossing each other, and then the way to get out, the door locks behind you. And it took me forever to figure out how to get out of here. I thought it was trapped for a minute, but there's 2 walls that have a candle in front of them, and you can open those. And one has some plasma energy, and the other has a teleporter that takes you, I think, over to the blue area where
Yes.
the ledge there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's like every other door you open or teleporter you go through, 5 cacodemons show up.
Of course, yeah. By the end of this, I was getting sick of cacodemons and lost souls.
I love that Big Mac Davis he just uses the BFG on all those lost souls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would like that's so smart. I would consider them like a too low level of an enemy to use the BFG on, but it's like, no, man, just blow them all away. Just do it.
I still stick by my chain gun. Chain gun is my favorite to deal with them. Because again, I don't want to waste the BFG on little guys, but the chain gun at least keeps them from charging into my face.
Yeah.
It pushes them back.
And Big Mac knows like where they're going to spawn in from because he's played this game a million times. So he's ready with the BFG and he can hit them all in one burst. But like me, dicking around, like not knowing what I'm doing. By the time I see them, they've all like dispersed. So one BFG is not going to hit all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this room that we're seeing now. You have to teleport into it, but then it's like a Y shape. There's these narrow hallways with like windows going all along the ledges, and there's enemies in it, but you wouldn't be able to see them from the outside. They only spawn once you're actually inside the Y dimension, sector Y. But it's kind of cool. It's a really narrow corridor, so you have to fight your way through it to one of the ends and then to the other end, and that's where the blue key is as well. But also, as soon as you go in there, a bunch of cacos spawn. So you're taking fire from outside as well. So it's a really tense little area that I dug a lot.
There was one thing that made me laugh. I was going through here, and is it the Phantom, the pinkies that are invisible?
The Spectres.
Spectre. I saw a Spectre up top in a room, and I shot it with the rocket launcher. And when I went around the back, its body was on the ground outside of the building.
Oh,
I just thought it made me laugh because I just blew his ass right out the window.
You blew his ass into another dimension. You sent him to the Shadow Realm.
The Shadow Realm. But one thing that pissed me off is there was like just enough of like shotgun guys up high inside of buildings that they kept taking pot shots at me as I was walking around. I just be walking around doing my thing, and I hear like, ooh, I'm like, what the fuck?
Goddamn hit scanners, man.
You saw the blood on the floor there.
Yeah. The one place that I died, I died one time playing through this, was the room with the berserk pack. I got baited into going in. I saw the berserk pack, and I'm like, I'm just going to grab it, and then just all those guys just blah, 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 trying to punch him away, and I didn't make
it. Yeah, that'll happen. I definitely save scummed a lot on this one because it does feel like one big level made out of a bunch of little micro levels with like each of these buildings. Before you go into the Hell Applebee's, you want to go ahead and make a quick save, and before you go into the Hell GameStop, you want to go ahead and make another quick save.
Yeah, I save scum all day. I don't have time to play a perfect level.
This room that he's in right now, the wooden one where there's these 2 switches that raise up the open ends to free. One of them has like some troopers. The other one, it'll free like a caco and another trooper. He just frees them and fights them straight on. But I was a pussy, man. I got up like next to it, like wedged my shotgun into the crack and just waited for them to walk by and just blasted them.
The teleporting Phantom was a nice trolling moment. You go in, it's just like teleports immediately, like what the fuck, and it's right behind you.
Yeah.
Sorry, kid.
Don't get too cocky, kid. All right. Well, that's Mount Erebus, a little peek into maybe like downtown hell. If you were out for a nice night on the town in hell, you could take the light rail system down to the Hell Loop on Delmar Boulevard, which isn't that much different from the regular Delmar
You mean
Boulevard.
you mean Helmar Boulevard?
There it is. How did I miss that one?
I don't know. It's staring you in the face. A little St. Louis humor for you folks out there.
This is what I need you for, Aaron. You're pushing me up the mountain. There's only one set of footprints in the sand. All right. Well, final thoughts on Mount Erebus.
Good. I liked it. I thought it was a pretty cool level. I really had a good time with it. Lots of power ups everywhere, and lots of places to explore, and lots of surprise enemies, and again, they gave you enough ammo to get the job done, and it was pretty fun.
Once I figured out what was going on, I enjoyed it more. But it was definitely a part in the middle that was that dragged on for me.
Yeah. I liked it. I wouldn't want a whole game of this, looking at you, Doom 2, but as a one-off, a unique stage, a big, vast, open stage, I really enjoy it. It's probably one of the highlights for me of the game so far. I don't know if I would go so far as Big Mac Davis, who says it's his favorite game or favorite stage in the original Doom trilogy. So not just this game, but like the whole original Doom trilogy. He puts it on a pretty high pedestal there. But
yeah,
I do enjoy it quite a bit. But we will now be leaving it behind and moving on. We will be taking the secret exit, moving on to E3 M9, Warren's Beatty. So you can look forward to that in about a week's time, folks.
Take us to the lower corner, Andy.
I'd be delighted. So let's do a little mythology lore today. This stage is called Mount Erebus. And Erebus, believe it or not, is a character in Greek mythology. Did you guys know that? Have you heard of Erebus before?
I don't know anything about the man, but I've heard of it.
He's one of the guys that's fucked, right? He has to either push the rock up the hill or his guts are getting eaten out.
Oh my God.
One of those guys, right?
Sisyphus is the rock guy. Is Erebus the bird guy?
You guys
eating his liver every day or something?
You guys are sounding so foolish right now. No, okay. So Erebus is first of all, the guy that you were talking about was the dude that gave fire to mortals. He's the one who was having his liver eaten. Prometheus, yeah. Erebus was one of the protogenoi. He was a protogenos. One of the primordial beings of Greek mythology who represented like elements or primal forces in nature. They were the children of chaos. Other protogenoi include Gaia, Uranus, Tartarus, Oceanus, Nyx, Hydros, Eros, Kronos, and many others. So they were the children of chaos, these primordial deities, and they eventually like created everything else. Chaos was a formless void, which is like just energy, a swirling mass of like energy and cosmos, and it's unclear, but anyway, you get the idea.
Formless mass.
It's a formless mass, and from that came all these protogenoi. And then two of them, Gaia and Uranus, got together and they smashed, and then that's where the Titans came from. And then, as we know, the Titans then begat the gods, the pantheon of 12. But Erebus was one of the protogenoi, the brother of Nyx, and also the consort of Nyx. So, as usual in Greek mythology, we've got some incest, folks.
Woohoo!
So Erebus represents darkness, and Nyx represents night. And Nyx is more of like a well-known deity. There's honestly not much that's known about Erebus, but Nyx represents night. Together with Erebus, her consort and brother, they gave birth to Aether, which is brightness, and Hemera, which is day. Those are both other protogenoi. And then she shows up a few times, like in the Legend of Heracles. She's in there, and Zeus is apparently afraid of her, which shows just how powerful these primal forces were. But anyway, Erebus represents darkness, and he is also associated with the underworld. There's not a lot about one JPEG. I'll share it with you guys. It's not. It doesn't give you very much. It's a really shitty JPEG. But I found this on mythology.wikia.org. So you're welcome. So this is
I didn't know the ancient
Erebus.
Greeks had JPEG technology.
You'd be surprised. They invented everything.
JPEG is the Greek word.
Yeah. It sounds kind of Greek, honestly.
That happened when Zeus fucked MS Paint.
Yes.
His sister, MS Paint. JPEG sprang from his mind like Athena.
So why is this called Mount Erebus? Do we think?
That's a good question. So Erebus has been the namesake of many things over the years, including sailing vessels. There was, I believe, a British ship called the HMS Erebus, or it might have been an American ship called the SS Erebus. I don't remember.
It was British.
Okay, thank you, Sam. So Sam probably knows where I'm going with this, but anyway, the ship discovered a mountain in Antarctica, or the people who were on board it were explorers, and they would sail to Antarctica, found a mountain, named it Mount Erebus. That mountain is real. It's really there today. It's an active volcano. And so that would appear to be part of the reason why they called this stage Mount Erebus.
It's an interesting story that the ship, the TV show, the Terror, is based off of that voyage. It was the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror who got shipwrecked, like closed up in Antarctica, and like started eating each other. And maybe there were some polar bears. In the movie, it's like giant Wendigo skinwalker murdering crazy psychopath thing. Really cool show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a movie night right there, boys.
Yeah.
Very good, very cool show.
So that is the legend of Erebus. Thank you for that little tidbit, Sam. It's not clear like how much the guys that did software like really knew what they were doing when they named it this, because this is clearly not Antarctica where we're at here. As with many things, it was probably just Romero like flipping through like a book of mythology and being like, "Oh, that sounds cool. Let's call it this."
That's where my head is at right
darkness
now too.
Shadow,
guys, fucking Erebus, man.
Someone later told him like, that mountain's in Antarctica, right, John? He's like, oh, well, you don't get what I was going for with my art. You don't understand it. You need to look deeper. It's a metaphor. It represents something.
And I also love how this is possible. This is probably like the flattest level we've had too. Like
that's true. Yeah.
there's no verticality to this level at all. Yeah. It's all just.
It is not a mountain by any reading of the situation.
There are cool mountains around us, though. You can see all these fucking. The background is sick. We didn't really talk about that. It's all of this is out in the open, except when you go into the Blockbuster, and all those fucking awesome mountainscapes around us with the blood red skies. Very cool.
Maybe we're in a giant caldera, like way up high in the air, like so we're on top of a mountain, like in the crater part of it.
Maybe it's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
It's a headcanon to fix the game, fix the logical fallacies that this makes no sense.
Yeah, Doom doesn't stand up to scrutiny. John, we're writing you an angry letter, buddy.
We're in hell. It's the dimension of madness. It's not supposed to make sense. That's part of it, Andy. We just can't.
Lucifer Morningstar is like, you don't get it. That's part of it. In hell, mountains are upside down. All right. Well, so that's been your lore corner for this week. Before we go, fellas, we should maybe check in on the console wars, because we're in a new generation of the console wars. Even more bloody corpses have been left writhing in their death throes on the field of battle. PS5 and Xbox Series X are both out right now. I think the PS5 is outselling the Series X by a good margin, but that doesn't mean that the Series X is selling badly. But I was just thinking about this, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but has there ever been a time where two competing consoles came out in such close proximity to each other?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that too much because usually I just, hey, I'm getting the PlayStation, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, but it was like 2 days apart. I mean, you got
Yeah,
to
it was
wonder,
very close.
like, how did
Yeah.
they plan it like that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like, when you don't buy them right out the gate, you don't really pay too close attention to that necessarily. Just like it comes out and that's a moment that passes and it's just whatever. Um, I have all these feelings of like, oh yeah, PlayStation 2 and GameCube, they were head to head right away, and Xbox 360 and PS3 were head to head right away.
Yeah.
But
Well,
2 days apart, I doubt it honestly. I don't know. I
oh,
don't know though.
I think 360 scooped PS3 by like a good like 6 months or 8 months or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like PS3 and the Wii came out close to each other, like maybe within a week or two, but that doesn't
That's
really
wild.
count.
Yeah, it's great. The 360 and the PS3 were let's see. I had it here for a second. Year apart almost.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had to count the months on your fingers there, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like PS2 scooped the GameCube and the Xbox by a pretty good amount too. I feel like that was like first out of the gate in that generation for a while.
Yeah, I think that feels right. I don't know.
And the PlayStation 1 came out like way before N64. It was like competing with the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Nintendo and PlayStation, that's a whole nother thing that we could dedicate an entire podcast to that whole transaction.
Oh baby.
Have any of the reviews swayed you, Andy? Are you now like, oh shit, bug snacks?
Bug
Oh,
snacks.
Miles Morales. I got to get me some of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I did look up a video of the ending of Bug Snacks because it's supposed to be like really fucked up and dark. And I mean, it is, but it's like in a goofy, silly way. Like basically the island you're on, there's like some kind of catastrophe. And, it turns out the Bug Snacks are parasites that are like reprogramming everyone's brains, like the more they eat of them. And there's like this giant Bug Snacks chimera, like Akira monster that is like wrecking everything. And you have to flee the island, and it just all gets destroyed.
Oh, wild. No,
I want to say,
we'll put a spoilers warning.
just real quick, I did some Google foo. So the Xbox Series X and PS5 were November 10th and 12th, but the GameCube and Xbox were the November 15th and November 18th of the same
Oh
day.
shit.
Yeah, so they were the same, right next to each other as well.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's been so long. I know the GameCube sold poorly. I feel like the original Xbox though didn't sell that well necessarily.
No, I think they didn't even make a profit on the machines.
That's
the first
right.
Xbox.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah.
They definitely sold at a loss, and they probably still do, honestly. Most consoles sell at a loss, and they try to make it back up in software, but the original Xbox just didn't have that much software going for it.
It was just, they had the money to make it, like to put it out there. Yes, people were playing it, but they wanted people to be thinking about it, basically.
Mind share,
as Microsoft console. Yeah.
What was the name? What was that internet writer that we were really into for a while, Andy?
Maddox.
Maddox. He wrote a whole article about just shitting all over the Xbox when after it came out, like how it was just like a crappy computer shoved into a VCR.
Yeah.
It was the first. It was the first console with a internal hard drive.
Oh, that's tight.
Which is now standard.
Mm-hmm. Innovative in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a PC shoved into a VCR. Although I guess technically that's what it would be.
Speaking of Maddox, have you followed his career nowadays?
No, I haven't thought about him in a decade.
Our boy Maddox has fallen on hard times.
Oh no!
He's basically like a right-wing guy now. And
no!
like he's basically alt-right, men's rights type guy.
Shit! So his like civil disobedience is still disobedience joke. That wasn't a joke at all.
It wasn't a joke at all.
Oh no, you fucker, Maddox.
He was serious the whole time.
Oh, that's so sad.
No, apparently he got, deep into like stupid YouTube bullshit and had like a couple other guys or one other guy that he was good friends with that they had like a podcast together, and then that guy cucked Maddox, like literally cucked him, and they had a huge
Shit.
falling out. And Maddox looked like a cuck at the end of the day, I have to say.
And he wasn't into it. He's not one of those guys. He wasn't into it.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't one of his kinks to be cucked. But
That makes me so sad.
This is all just secondhand shit that I've heard on podcasts. I could not be bothered to go and watch any of Maddox's YouTube videos. But his website.
Now I do have a morbid curiosity about it.
All right, you can be our canary in the coal mine on that.
I hope he doesn't red pill me.
We're gonna come back next week, and Aaron's gonna be talking about men's rights, and
makes a good point. I do feel disenfranchised sometimes.
I will say, when I was in high school and early college, his website was very funny.
Yeah, no, we went and saw it. We went to a book signing of his, man.
Yeah, we saw him when his book came out.
I thought he was funny.
I did
somewhere. I've got a photo of you shaking his hand. In your suit. And he wore a suit.
Yeah.
He wore a suit.
That was the joke, is you were supposed to wear a suit to his book signing.
Yeah, he wore like a fucking shitty T-shirt, and he had that crown on his head.
Yeah, he had like a robe and a crown on. I don't know. Stupid juvenile 2005 humor.
It was great then. I'm sure extremely frowned upon if someone read it today, probably.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine he would be canceled very quickly.
Very quickly.
All right. Well, so we'll check back in on the console wars. What were you going to say?
So the answer to my question is no, it has. None of it swayed you into wanting to buy a PlayStation or Xbox Series X yet.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, PlayStation 5 looks tight. I think Demon's Souls looks tight. I've been watching a lot of Twitch on that game. I mean, it's a game that came out in 2007, but it looks tight. The graphics updated. They're growing on me. At first I was like, "This is different. I don't like things that are different." but after watching it on Twitch for a while, I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." There's a price deterrent there. I'm a notorious cheapskate. I would like a PS5. Will I purchase it is a different question.
Like, honestly, that's the reason, like, if I were to buy this generation console, I would probably get the Xbox Series X just because of the price point. Because while it's the same price for the console, you get like Game Pass. And then, like, you'd have access to all these older titles too. That, like, right off the gate, if you even had an Xbox system, Xbox One or Xbox 360, then you got that. You can play all of them, and that's
PlayStation
why
also
it seems more alluring.
There's a Game Pass now, basically, for PlayStation.
Oh, there is. Well, never mind. Fuck Xbox.
It's got like God of War, Red Dead. It's Last of Us 2. No, not. It's got a bunch of really good games on it. I'm just waiting for something more. Basically, the only thing I wanted right off the gate was Dark Souls, but I've watched so many streams that I don't need to play it.
Yeah, it holds no appeal any longer.
And I'm really enjoying my favorite streamer, Moon. He's been in the Tower of Latria. If you play the game, I'm talking about. He's going in and PvPing all the time. But the last time I watched him, he was going in specifically to the old monk boss fight where you can be summoned in as the boss.
Yeah.
But he's using this spear that does no physical damage, but it does massive damage to your durability of your armor and weapons.
Yeah.
So he's going into the fight and just breaking people's armor. He's just trolling people massively.
It's so shitty.
And people are like disconnecting from the fight once they realize what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He's this griefing stream.
Well, welcome to Demon's Souls. Hello and welcome to Demon's Souls.
I don't think the Souls games are ever going to be for me. I've tried them a couple times and I'm like, I could see getting into this, but it'd be like, I'd have to like scrape and claw my way to liking it.
you can always play offline if that shit's bothering you.
No, not even, like even just playing the single player campaign, like playing offline, like against the enemies is just like, I see the appeal. I'm like, it would take a lot of practice for me and a lot of energy to like get into it and get good enough that I'm having fun with it finally. So I don't know if the Souls games will ever be for me.
That's true.
They're cool. I like watching people play them, but they're not. I don't think they're for me.
I always wait on a console on the PlayStation actually until there's some RPG that I want. I think I bought a PS4 when Destiny came out. PS3 I got right off the bat because there was a really shitty, now that I think about it, RPG called Enchanted Arms that came out on launch.
Oh
It was
yeah,
very
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
PS2, that was a bit different. I actually didn't. I was, early enough in my gaming career that I wasn't paying attention to launch date, and I knew it was coming out, but I didn't know when. And I was in Best Buy, and they had one, and my grandma was with me, and she bought it for me
Ooh,
on launch day. Somehow it was just sitting there,
ooh.
and I got Orphan, Scion of Sorcery,
Oh baby.
Kessen, which was like a
Uh-huh.
real shitty Japanese like Tokugawa uh, like RTS, and Summoner, which was so clunky and bad that I never played much more than like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's what you get. Launch titles usually aren't that great.
It's really rare.
Having Demon Souls as like a solid launch title has been a pretty big coup for them. And then the Switch launched with Breath of the Wild, although that's a different situation because that was
The Wii
a
U
game from the
game.
previous generation that they delayed. But
Yeah,
They
but
love doing that. The
but
recent previous.
there's never been a bad launch Mario or Zelda game.
no, yeah.
But yeah, I think PlayStation 4 was the first time that we had a launch game for me that was really, really good, which was Infamous Second Son.
Mm.
Uh, I didn't have it. My roommate bought it, and I remember playing through the whole thing, and that was just like solid, not even AAA solid game.
Your inner Jim Sterling was
Yeah,
coming out there.
exactly. AAA.
All right, fellas. Well, let's wrap this one up and put it to bed. It's been real podcasting with you folks once more.
Mhm.
For the listeners at home, we will be back in your feeds in a week's time with E3M9 because it's a secret level. We're jumping to 9, and that will be called Warrens. So please look forward to that. It's a good one. Sam, what are your words of wisdom for our listeners at home?
I was about to make. I always screw this up, so I'll just continue that trend. I was going to make a really, a good one, which is go on Steam and buy some stuff on the Steam sale. But this won't be online. This will be online after the Steam sale's over. So still, go out and buy Balloons Tower Defense 6, even if it's not on sale, because it's an awesome little cheap game. It's 99 cents on sale, but it's like $5 off sale, and it's good. It's a good game. Buy video games.
Buy video games. Always good advice. All right. Thank you, Sam. And Aaron, what do you want to say to the folks at home today?
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Please go to onestageattime.com for more of our things and to find links to all of our socials. Drop us a message. Let us know if you're playing any of the new consoles and if we're fools for not dropping the moolah to pick them up and play some Miles Morales or some Gears of War. I don't know what
Or
came out on
some
the Xbox, but
Xbox
I have been itching for some Gears of War. But so let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the podcast. If you're playing through Doom, what are your thoughts on that? And everybody, please save and continue.